Now we are going to zero in now to talk about, in detail, we are going to talk about what is this communication. What do you understand when someone talks about communication? So we are saying that this communication is a universal term, and every day communication occurs. Even at this moment, communication is occurring. Even this time, as we are delivering this lecture to you, this process of communication is being done. I'm delivering the study materials to you students right now, and I'm the sender of that message or that study material to you, and you are the receiver. Therefore, the concept has generated a lot of interest in terms of, on the part of researchers. You know, people now started getting to understand, what is this communication? What are the components? What are the processes? What are the steps that are supposed to be followed for us to be able to effectively, deliver, our processes? So the interest was developed by researchers. The interest was developed by government. Interest also, other organizations also developed the interest in trying to understand what this communication is all about. So communication, by definition, for this course, we are saying communication is by means by which we transfer, or an idea is transferred from one person to another. Okay, so as a sender, me, the one who's initiating the message, delivers the knowledge or the ideas or the materials to the receiver. Okay. So going further, as I said earlier, that a lot of people, a lot of scientists started developing the interest in communication to understand what is this communication all about. So a lot of scientists came up with some definitions. Some of examples of these definitions include, and these definitions have been defined by specific scientists. So in this course, I may ask you to say, can you define communication process defined by such scientist? So, and these are specific to the scientists who did the study. So the first one there we are going to talk about is communication is by any means by which a thought is transferred from one person to another. And this study was done by Chappell and Reid, the 5th edition. This is the book that he wrote. Okay? So according to him, he defined it as a means to which that thought, that idea that you have, is transferred to another person. And that process of transferring that idea or that thought is referred to as communication. The second definition that was done by another person, another scientist, this is Udall, 1979, in his article. Okay? He defined communication as a process by which a person or a group shares or imparts information to another person or to another group, so that both, that is a group, clearly understand one another. So this is the definition that was done by this scientist. So according to him, he says it is a process. Okay. Further, definition number 3. This was done by Abidabe, and he defined communication as the exchange of ideas, exchange of thought, exchange of knowledge between at least two people with the intention of changing the behavior of one another, particularly the decoder. So this was a study by Abidabe. But in terms of education, how do we define now this communication? Because these are the theories that people have done and they have come up with their own definition. Now we are saying, in terms of classroom management, in terms of classroom handling of communication. So we are saying that the term communication can be defined as the totality of the teacher's efforts. So as a teacher, you have efforts to ensure that all the stated instructional objectives are accomplished through effective manipulation of the tasks, the methods, the media, the learners, as well as the entire teaching and learning environment. So the teacher has that responsibility. As an educator, you have that responsibility to ensure that learners, the information you want to deliver to the learners, it is well packaged, and the methods that have been identified, that is in terms of what method are you going to deliver that package or educational package. Then what media are we going to use? So those efforts are done by the teacher or the educator or the facilitator of the learning. So that kind of processing, all that work, all that efforts put together, they are helping us to achieve this teaching and learning environment. So further, we are saying that communication basically involves the sender, because we talked about that we are saying that the information moves from the teacher maybe to the learner. So in this process, we identify key players in communication. And we are saying one of them is the sender. And then we after the sender, then we have the message or the information in which we want to deliver to the receiver. And then what medium are we using, or what media are we going to use to deliver that message? And then we have the receiver. So there was a study that was done by Bello in 1960, where he looked at the ingredients of communication process. And what are these ingredients of communication process? Basically, we look at the source, and the source here we are referring to the sender, because that's where the source is the one who initiates the communication process. And then we have the message, which is prepared by the sender, and then we have the receiver and the channel to be used.